There's an old cliche we've all heard thousands of times. It ain't over till it's over. These teams took that phrase to heart. These are the greatest comebacks, determined by the largest deficits in NFL history. First up, we have a 24-point playoff comeback between the New York Giants and the San Francisco 49ers. The Giants dominated for nearly 3 quarters, taking a 38-24 lead with only 4 minutes left in the third quarter. It was all but official. The Giants were moving on to the next round, until Jeff Garcia and the 49ers woke up. They stormed back, scoring 25 consecutive points. There was 1 minute left in the game. This is plenty of time for the Giants to win the game and avoid the embarrassment. The Giants marched down the field and had good position to kick the field goal. The holder fumbled the snap and attempted to throw the ball. Unfortunately, a penalty on the Giants ended the game. A huge comeback win for the 49ers, not without controversy. We have 3 entries tied with 25-point comebacks. Plug your ears, Falcon fans. I know you're tired of hearing about it. But we're going to start with Super Bowl 51. Falcons lead 28-3 with just over 2 minutes left. The Falcons were 17 minutes away from their first Super Bowl in franchise history. Then, the Patriots became the Patriots, as they scored 25 consecutive points to tie the game and send it to overtime. The Falcons' defense couldn't stop the Patriots, and the Falcons' offense with star quarterback Matt Ryan could not get anything going. In overtime, the Patriots were the first and only team with the ball. An exhausted Falcons defense had to go back on the field again. The Patriots drove right down the field and scored the game-winning touchdown. Patriots score 31 unanswered points to win the Super Bowl, 34-28. While this may not be the greatest comeback in terms of points overcome, it is the greatest comeback for the stage. No other Super Bowl can boast this claim. This could and should have been on the most heartbreaking moments in NFL history, but there were too many moments to name one. The Falcons just needed one more point, and they could have avoided the worst loss in the history of Falcons football. Our second 25-point deficit took place in the regular season matchup between the Browns and the Titans. The Browns trailing 28-3. You may be thinking, yeah, and? That's nothing new here. Well, the Browns took offense to that on this day. No excuses here, but seemingly Titans quarterback Jake Locker leaving the game with an injury may have sparked something in the Browns, with the Browns defense deciding they'd only like to work half their shift and get their full game checks. They completely changed in the second half. They shut out the Titans while the Browns put up 26 points to win the game 29-28. The Browns have been down by an insurmountable number of points on so many occasions, but they would not be denied on this day. Our third and final 25-point comeback belongs to the St. Louis Cardinals on November 8, 1987. The Buccaneers absolutely dominated for 3 quarters, leading 28-3. The Cardinals went absolutely insane in the fourth quarter, scoring 4 touchdowns, 3 offensive and 1 defensive. Cardinals would win the game 31-28. 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter is almost unheard of, but the Cardinals needed them all to sneak away with the victory. For the next entry, I'd like to take you back to 1997, week 4 of the NFL's regular season. In Buffalo, New York, a place known for its patient and accepting fan base. I can only imagine being in that stadium as the Bills trailed the Colts 26-0 in the second quarter. On odd scores, the Colts scored on their first 6 drives with 2 touchdowns and 4 field goals. You have to imagine if any of those 4 drives had made it into the end zone, we wouldn't be having this conversation. The Bills, on the other hand, would wake up and score 37 of the game's next 40 points to take a 37-29 lead. The Colts would not go quietly as they score a late touchdown, making it 37-35. If the Colts nail a 2-point conversion, they may be able to avoid a disaster. Well, if the Colts made this list for all the wrong reasons, we know that didn't happen. We'll be seeing the Bills again shortly. The most recent entry on the list is the 2022 AFC wildcard game between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the not San Diego Chargers. The Jaguars trailed 27-0 in the first half. Their young quarterback Trevor Lawrence threw 4 interceptions and looked totally outmatched. Lawrence, however, did not look overwhelmed. The Jags would sneak a touchdown in before half, but still trailed 27-7. The defense would only give up 3 points the rest of the game as Jacksonville put it together. They scored 24 points in the second half to beat a stunned Chargers team 31-30. Most people turned the game off at 27-0, myself included. Then, checking the score a half hour later, seeing that there was competition, I came crawling back. With the NFL, something great is usually around the corner. You just have to stick around to find out. Up next, we have two entries tied with 28-point comebacks. The first of two 28-point comebacks, we check in with the Saints and the 49ers. The winless Saints, standing at a staggering 0-10, will not go quietly this day. Quickly dropping 5 touchdowns to only 1 for the 49ers in the first half, the players must have received the wake-up call of a lifetime, as they would shut out the Saints in the second half. 28 unanswered points later by the Niners would send the game into overtime, where 1 field goal later the 49ers would avoid embarrassment on their home turf. The Saints, on the other hand, would not win a game the entire season. The 49ers refused to be the one for a 1-13 team. The second 28-point comeback is an Indianapolis Colts revenge story. In this 2014 AFC wildcard playoff game, the Colts would welcome Alex Smith and the Kansas City Chiefs into their stadium. Early on, the Chiefs and Colts would trade touchdowns, but the Chiefs pulled away quickly, taking a 38-10 lead into the third quarter. Colts went on a rampage, scoring 28 points to the Chiefs' 6. With just under 6 remaining, trailing by 6, Andrew Luck hits T.Y. Hilton for a 64-yard touchdown, sealing a 45-44 win for the Colts. This is one of the most exciting playoff games of all time. Even though the ending was spoiled, I'd recommend watching this game for yourselves. The Colts blew a 26-point comeback earlier on the list, so they figured they'd make up for it here. The second greatest comeback of all time and the largest deficit overcome in a playoff game belongs to the Buffalo Bills. Apparently, Buffalo is a comeback machine, as they hold 2 of the top entries on this list. The Bills trailed 35-3 in typical Bills fashion, trailing 28-3 at halftime and 35-3 into the third quarter. We may as well have just ended the game there. No team can come back from a 30-point deficit, right? Wrong, says the Buffalo Bills, as they score 28 third-quarter points, which is impressive on its own. A field goal by the Oilers and a touchdown by the Bills forced the game into overtime. The Bills win the game with a walk-off field goal with a final score of 41-38. Yep, the Bills won a playoff game with a field goal, in the heaviest stroke of irony. Was this the reason the Houston Oilers decided to close their doors and move to Tennessee? Perhaps. The greatest comeback in NFL history belongs to the Minnesota Vikings. The Indianapolis Colts led 33-0 heading into halftime, and seemingly a completely different Vikings team came out of the locker room. The Vikings quickly scored after the break, making it 33-7. Typically during these comebacks, the team who blows the lead fails to score, but the Colts quickly answered with 3 more points, making it 36-7. That would be the last time the Colts would score. The Vikings scored 29 consecutive points to send the game to overtime. In overtime, the Vikings would kick the game-winning field goal to complete the largest comeback in NFL history. I hope this isn't the only reason people remember Matt Ryan. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback with countless positive moments, but the stigma of choking away 2 of the greatest comebacks in NFL history will follow him around like a dark cloud. Did we miss anything out? Let us know in the comments. If you like what you heard, check out more videos down below. Thanks for watching.